5 days away from the Cowboys season opener, Sunday Night Football in L.A. against the Rams. It'll be Dak Prescott's first chance to show the world what his offense can do under new head coach Mike McCarthy. Man, he's got a full stable of weapons at his disposal. Who does Dak have? He's got Zeke, he's got Amari, he's got Michael Gallup, and we're going to get our first look at rookie receiver CeeDee Lamb. So we welcome back in Brian Westbrook now to talk a little Dallas Cowboys. Brian, do you think that this Cowboys team is built to win the NFC?
Well, from listening to Kevin's answer, the real question is how much water polo has the Cowboys, have they played in the offseason? Because if that transitions to basketball, it certainly has to transition to football as well. But here's the truth about the Cowboys. Of course, I think they're built to win the NFC. They have a great running back, a very good quarterback, good offensive line, a lot of weapons on the outside at the receiver position, a rebuilt defensive line, 2 quality linebackers that are now healthy, and a secondary that continues to get better if they can get some turnovers. But here's the other part to that, Jenna. I thought they were built to win last year as well, and they ended up 8-8. There was several times in the last couple of years I thought the Cowboys were built to win, and they haven't been able to get it done. That's why I put so much pressure on Mike McCarthy. He should be the glue that was able to propel this team to a winning season. I think back to when I was in Philadelphia. Andy Reid, we didn't always have the most talented team. We had talent. There were other years where we didn't have as much talent. But Andy Reid always got the best out of us, and he always propelled us to be better. And because of that, we normally won a bunch of games. I compare that to when I was in San Francisco in 2010. Mike Singletary, the head coach. And listen, I love Mike Singletary as a man. He struggled as a head coach. We ended up 6-10. Didn't have the culture and character in the right place in that organization. Now, you fast forward to 2011. The very next season, Jim Harbaugh comes in. That's almost the same football team in San Francisco goes 13-3. The year after that, they're in the Super Bowl. 2012, they're in the Super Bowl. So sometimes it just takes a new coach to change everything around. That's why Jason Garrett is gone. And again, the pressure is on Mike McCarthy to make sure that this team that is built to win is ready to
win. Brandon, especially when the pieces are in place the way Brian laid out that they are. I mean, you've got a team that was top 6 in the NFL in point differential, that had a top 5 offense, that is on offense, returning nearly everyone aside from Travis Frederick, who they actually played 2 seasons ago without already. They add CeeDee Lamb. You had as far as the things that should revert back to the mean, they were a little unlucky fumble luck last year. They were not good in close games, and they didn't take advantage of any analytical edges as far as how aggressive they were in their play calling. Some of those things will just revert back to the mean by randomness. The other parts of those things can be fixed by Mike McCarthy. If Mike McCarthy made that famous year the most of his time in that barn in Appleton, Wisconsin we keep talking about. So I look at, and the other thing Dallas has going for it is, I think their divisions outside of them is not any good. Washington's going to be aggressively bad. The Giants are going to be aggressively bad. And Philadelphia is already dealing with injuries. They lost Brandon Brooks early in the offseason. Their first-round draft pick wide receivers already banged up. Like Andre Dillard is not turned into the guy they hoped he would, and I think he's dealing with a slight injury as well. So a team that always deals with injuries. We haven't even played a preseason game, which we won a regular season game, and they are. So I look around the NFC, Brandon, and I say the Cowboys last year, with better coaching, had the metrics of a Super Bowl team. Now they have 100%. Better coaching. To me, they should be not only the favorites in the NFC East, Brandon, but I believe they're the favorites in the NFC as a whole. I know we're going to do our picks later in the week, our predictions later in the week.
Wow.
But a little spoiler
you just
alert.
Did. Well, you
I
just
think
made your pick.
The Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl. Yeah. I just kind of made my pick.
Why wait till Thursday when you just did it? Yeah, you already made your pick.
You're right.
No, I mean the short answer is this: yes, right? Like when I look at a winning formula. And they check off the box. Can they play good defense? Yes. Can they run the ball? Yes. Do they have wide receivers that can beat one-on-one coverage in crunch time? Yes, they actually have 3. Dak, you need a quarterback. He's a championship quarterback. He's getting better every single year. And Brian, you hit it on the head, man. Like I mean, you couldn't have said it any better. It comes down to this head coach. This head coach just don't mess it up. But then when you look around the conference, and this is where I disagree with you, Nick, It's stacked, man. I mean, you got the 49ers.
NFC is loaded.
You got the Saints.
Yep.
You got the Bucks. Green Bay. Don't forget about Aaron Rodgers. And then, the team that I will pick and I won't wait till Thursday is the Seattle Seahawks. And the reason why I love the Seattle Seahawks is because they have everything that I just described in the Cowboys, but add leadership, add culture. Because there's two opponents that every team is going to face this year. And that's what you have to deal with week in and week out. One is the opposing team. Two is COVID-19. And I truly believe the Seattle Seahawks is built in a way to handle any adversity, anything is thrown their way around procedures and this whole COVID-19, this global pandemic. So when you look at what they did and how they responded to the kid trying to sneak a young lady into the hotel right away, cut, get out of here, bye. They have some strong leadership, Bobby Wagner, Russell Wilson. It trickles down from Pete Carroll all the way to the locker room that's where culture is set and maintained. And that's why I love the Seattle Seahawks and not the Cowboys to win the conference.
So I'm going to bring it in a little bit closer to just talk about Sunday and the Rams. I know we've talked about the Cowboys and how far they're going to go. And, Nick, you've got them going to the Super Bowl. If I'm Sean McVay, I'm sitting there like, what am I, the Washington Generals? You guys are going to throw confetti in my face and pants me while we're playing? Like, we're a decent team. We're a good team. So Sean McVay's never lost to Mike McCarthy. He's 1-0. Jalen Ramsey has got to be a little bit tired hearing about these 3 1,000-yard receivers. Aaron Donald's like, okay, I got 12 and a half sacks last year. Like, yeah, I don't know if how good Dak is going to be when I'm bull rushing him. So, Brian, I'll throw it to you. How important is the Cowboys' schedule here to get off to a big win week 1?
Oh, it's going to be huge. And listen, you got to remember what the problem with the Cowboys was last year. They played well against the bad teams, and they played terribly against the good teams. And so that's a confidence thing. That's a coach thing. Can they make sure that they have the right mindset and the thought process every single week? So, yeah, anytime you can get off to a great start, winning your first week, getting on a run, maybe winning 2-3 games in a row, that's going to help these teams like the Cowboys that don't have that same type of confidence that they can win continuously against the better football teams, or at least they haven't proven that yet. And so, listen, your schedule comes into play, your health is going to come into play, and a big part of that, of course, is Mike McCarthy. Your coaching is going to come into play as far as your success in the season.
Well, can we show that schedule again? Because Wilds, I would take it a step further than week 1. To me, the Cowboys have a great opportunity to start off 6-1 and go into that game at Philly, which is their biggest game every year. I mean, they're just do it. At the Rams, I think they're the favorites, or they should be the favorites. They are the favorites at home against the Falcons. They're underdogs against Seattle. They'll be favorites at home against the Browns. They'll be big favorites at home against the Giants. They'll be favorites at home against the Cardinals, and they'll be road favorites at Washington. So if they only, to me, have 2 games that are even somewhat question marks, at the Rams, at Seattle. If they split those 2, there's no reason they shouldn't be 6-1 going into the game against Philly. Remember last year, they started 3-0, taking advantage of 3 terrible teams, but then they faltered massively. I think, Brandon, new coach, you have all these guys back trying to get off to a good start. Like, I think the schedule makers did them a huge favor, and I think you and I agree the Rams are not the Rams of 2018 anymore. It's a lot of those guys are gone, and a lot of the shine has kind of dulled on Sean McVay.
Yeah, and to go back to what Wilds brought up, yeah, you got to start fast. And Wilds, you're right. You know, a lot of times we come on these shows and we're talking about, Super Bowl predictions. We're talking about playoffs. We're talking about guys getting big contracts. What good teams do, what great leaders do, they bring it back to the here and now. Like, don't get lost in the sauce. Stay right here, win the day. And teams have core behaviors. A lot of teams embrace start fast, finish strong. I mean, that's one of those things, Brian, right? How many times have you heard that? Start fast, finish strong. So the way we've always done it in the league, and this, I got this from Coach Shanahan, Mike Shanahan here in Denver. He always talked about, let's break up the season into 4 micro seasons, 4 at a time. We want to win this first season. We want to start fast. So it's really important for the Cowboys, who, no, I don't think they have an opportunity to go to 6-1. It's going to be tough for them. It's any given Sunday. We know that. It's all about matchups. But I do think they have an opportunity to start fast. And if they can do that and carry that into November, December, I mean, there can be trouble up until they get to the Seattle Seahawks.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.